In this video I'm going to be telling you what these were like after 20 miles. Right, so the Nike Vaporfly Next Percent 3 is probably one of the hottest shoe drops of the year. We've all been waiting for it and anticipating it for a little while now, and it's finally here in the prototype colourway. It dropped over here in the UK and I managed to grab a pair. So for full transparency, as always on 40 Runs, I bought these myself. I paid the £235 myself. I'm not being sent these, so as always then, even if I was sent them, I'm going to say anything I want. Right, okay, so let's break this video down to the stats and features, things I like and things I didn't like. Okay, so just as a heads up, we've done 2 runs in these. Now you might go, oh, it's not enough. But we've done 4 miles for a run to break them in, and I did 16 miles today with 8 of that at goal pace. So I was looking to do marathon pacing then. I was actually a little bit quicker. We'll come on to that in a minute. So we've done 20 miles in the shoe, and I wanted to report back on those 20 miles and tell you what I found out so far. Okay, so stats and features, what's new? Now, firstly, the biggest thing for me in terms of update is the upper. We've got this new Flyknit upper, which I have to say is fantastic. Very breathable, really big holes across the whole foot to increase that airflow. It really is a much, much better upper. And we'll come on to, again, things I like in a minute. We've still got the offset lacing, which is good. We've got those sort of notches on the lacing, which really help with the lockdown. We've still got the fly plate in there. You might not see it because of the mud. And I've not cleaned these, guys. I've literally done the 16 miles, come home and switched on the camera. So don't ever go at me about not cleaning them this time. I usually do try and clean them. But we've got the fly plate in there. Can you see that? Looking at the bottom of the shoe, we've got a much improved outsole. If you look this, and we'll do a comparison. Actually, I might just grab it now. Versus version 2, you can see all the holes where they try to save that weight. And it's a bit thinner and it's just a bit better, to be honest with you. The outsole, but again, we'll come on to that in a mo. It's very much the Zoom X that's feeling, sorry, that's like on the Nike Invincible 3. I don't know whether I've seen people say it's Zoom X 2.0, but it definitely feels very similar to what we've got on the Invincible 3. It fits true to size. I've seen 8mm drop. I don't know whether that's correct. I've also seen a 39mm stack. Again, I don't know whether that's correct because I couldn't find it on the Nike website. 210 grams for my UK 9.5, and as I said, it does fit true to size, and I think that's probably about it in terms of stats and features. Okay, so let's do, actually, before we get into things I like and don't like, let's just do a quick visual check versus the version 2 here and version 1. I think the biggest takeaway for me is the upper and also the outsoles. We've still got the plate placement in the shoes, full length carbon plate in both the shoes, but I think, as I said, the biggest takeaway really in terms of difference is the upper on those shoes. It does feel, or maybe look, sorry, a little bit narrower across this midsection here versus here. Width-wise in the heel looks about the same. Again, I'm doing this, I'm not measuring it with a tape and all that, just whatever. But it does look a little bit maybe thinner across there, and it's a little bit shorter as well in terms of the flare off the back. They're probably the main differences. Both, as I said, fit true to size. They've managed to keep the price the same, which is good news. And that's probably about it. This is about, I think, check out the shorts video I did. This is about 215 grams from memory. Okay, so what I like. I really like the upper. Really like the upper. I think this is the best upper on a Vaporfly Next Percent. I really, really like the upper. I like the fit of it. I like the fact that I put it on and I hadn't had any issues with in terms of the fit, hot spots or heat spots and all that kind of stuff. I like that. I like still the offset lacing and the lockdown I achieved today on that longer run. 4 miles, as I said, was just a run really to break them in ready for the work today. I like the weight of the shoe. It's a perfect sort of area for me in terms of that 210 grams. I really like the outsole, the changes they've made to the outsole. First, it's not as noisy. I was running on not actually like probably what these are designed for, which is like nice sweet tarmac that you guys get in the US. I was running on gravel paths and things like that today, okay? So this thing, and it was icy, this thing gripped really, really well. Despite the thinning out of the rubber versus version 2, it really is a good outsole at the front end, what they've done. That sort of waffle design that I first saw on the Pegasus Turbo Nature. Now, it's not as thick as that, but they've taken some of that, I think. It's really good. I really like it. I like the setup in terms of the plate. It still feels fast. It just feels quick. But what was really surprising, Dave, more than anything else, was when I was sort of not at goal pace, because we was doing 2 mile on, 2 mile off. Even like at 9:15 per mile, it actually felt all right. Now that's surprising, and that really surprised me today, because I said to Si, I might struggle with these today. I don't get me wrong, I struggled when it was like negative camber and some of the paths and this. Again, I wasn't on that sweet tarmac today, right? It was not ideal conditions where to really run these hard. But it coped with everything really, really well today. I was really impressed with this shoe, considering the conditions I gave it. Right, things I don't like. Now, I saw a review from someone, oh, where you gone? I saw a review of someone saying, and I don't know who it was, and I'm not calling them out, but they said that you don't get rocks in there. You do. I can dispel that. That's one annoying thing, and I took quite a few out. I kept, because you can hear it. So when because we put our gels and stuff in a bag, because we was doing laps. So when I was getting them out, I was like getting rocks out of that bit. So that's a little bit annoying, because version 2 didn't have that. So that's a little bit annoying, but again, right, these are things that are designed for racing. When you're going to be racing with, like, all right, there might be some stuff on the roads, but really, I mean, it's a little bit of a far-fetched. But that annoyed me. But that was probably about it. Obviously, £235 is a load of money, right? I get that. So the price is a little bit irritating, especially when you can get version 2 for sort of £150 that you can get it for at the moment. And I think this is probably where we're going to go with the video, because this is a really good shoe. I don't think that I was really worried. Okay, let's go back to it. I was really worried that they were going to ruin it, right? And I don't necessarily think they have. Do I feel it's as quick as version 2? I think at the paces I run, I'm probably not going to notice any difference. I think if you're like a 2.5 to 2 to 3 hour marathon runner, yeah, you might do. But for someone like me who like plods about, but you know, I appreciate it. It's fast for some people, but you know, my times probably aren't, again, like I said with the Socket Endorphin Elite, I'm not going to notice the time difference in these shoes. I've always said that the Vaporfly for me is my fastest shoe. When I was going along at like 7:50, I dropped to about 7:50, 7:45 per mile, even though I shouldn't have done, because I was meant to be doing goal pace. It felt really good. So obviously the faster you run in this thing, the more it's going to give you. But despite that, I didn't really notice much difference between this and V2. But again, I'm not a super elite. So some of those guys and some of those really good channels who are running faster, someone like Ben Parks or someone like that, is probably going to give you a better understanding of really versus version 2 if you're that sort of pace. So look, here's the thing. Do you need this shoe, version 3, because it's so quick, so fast, it's going to make a huge difference? No, because you can go and get the same effect from version 2, and version 2 is like getting close to £100 cheaper, maybe 75. So no, you don't need to rush out and buy this shoe. Go and buy version 2 while it's cheaper, okay? Yes, it's louder, but you don't get rock stuck in the middle. So I think that's the key for you everyday runners. If you're looking for a fast Nike racing shoe, the Vaporfly is still the daddy, but I would go and get version 2 because it's cheaper. But version 3, just looking at it in version 3, I don't think it's bad. I think they could have really ruined this. They could have, like, you know, really mucked it up, and they haven't. I really enjoyed this. I know, again, you go, oh, he's 2 runs, but really, I've always said a racing shoe for me, I will put 20 miles in them. I'll box them up and I'll bring them out on race day, and that's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to do exactly the same what I do with all my racing shoes, because this is a racing shoe. This is not a training shoe. I ran it on a training run today to see what it was like. But normally I wouldn't. I don't do any training in my Vaporfly version 2. I save them for race day. And I think that's where you know, that's the point I want to put across. So until I put this into a race, I can't really say what it's like. And I would race this at 10k half marathon. But I tell you one really interesting thing before I leave you today. I was running along today with Simon, and I did say to him on a lap, I think it was on our fourth lap at goal pace, I said to him, I could wear these in a marathon. Which he replied, yeah, but you're only on you're only on like 8 miles or something. He said, imagine doing 26, which is a fair point, right? But that's how much I enjoyed the ride. I think that's the biggest compliment I can actually give the shoe, because I'm fearful, and I would never have the bottle or the guts or the you know, the moxie to put this into a race environment over the marathon distance, because I'd be too scared of breaking my legs because of the instability when I backed out of it. But today it made me think to myself, well, actually, could I actually put them into a marathon? And maybe I could. And maybe I've improved as a runner. Maybe I have, because I've, you know, tried to work on a few technical things. But I think that's the biggest compliment I can give the shoe, is because of the upper and the airflow and the outsole grip and the overall setup here. I was seriously trotting along today thinking I could actually run these in the marathon. So to summarise, and let's bring the video to an end, 2 big takeaways. Number 1 is I like it. I like the upper, I like the outsole. I even contemplated doing a marathon in them, and I don't think they ruined it. But the biggest takeaway for you guys, and probably for most people, is go and buy version 2. While it's so cheap, or it's not so cheap, you know what I mean, while it's on discount, pick up version 2, and then eventually when you wear them out, then maybe switch over to version 3. But the good news is, for me, from what I've seen for this 20 miles, is they've not ruined it. And it's given me some thoughts and some considerations that I never thought I would say, which is, maybe I could run a marathon in the Vaporfly Next % 3.